I wonder, like, again, it's not something that's been, close to home for me yet. And I don't know if this is a tough one to answer, but like, is it a Google search and there's lots of experts out there? Like, what if it's not something that's been, in the forefront for me, but I realize it's something like, where does someone even go to start getting, I guess, insights and resources when it comes to like the path you'd go to succession plan? Would you have advice for anyone?
So it really depends on what situation you're sitting in.
Sure.
The big consulting firms, obviously, we all have practices that are built around this. We all have methodologies, and we're all, we're able to deliver on stuff like this. I'm assuming that there's some smaller firms that are around, and there's always lots of stuff on Google and what have you. But there's I think it's one of those things where ask a friend and get a referral.
Depends where you're at. Put a post on LinkedIn and get flooded with specialists that'll happily put their hand up.
I just honestly, like, sometimes I just ask a friend. Ask someone else in business or whatever, and try to get a friend of a friend, or maybe somebody knows somebody, whatever. An unknown sometimes is really difficult, because you don't really know what you're going to get.
Sure.
But maybe you follow somebody on LinkedIn, and maybe that person, you quite like what they post and you identify with some of the stuff they're posting. Maybe you can just send a message and connect with them and have a conversation, and maybe that's the best thing you've done.
Nice. Love it. Employee value proposition. Again, this is for the employer, like the issues we're trying to help employers solve. So why did that come up as a hot topic for us right now?
Oh my gosh. Employee value proposition. It's such an interesting thing these days, because remember I mentioned the social contract earlier, about your social contract was originally you go to work, you get paid, you go home. Mm-hmm. That was the social contract. I feel like the big .com bubble ruined the social contract for everybody, because all of a sudden, before the .com bubble burst, it was all the campus stuff, and it was all the free lunches and this, that, and the other. And it's really interesting, because if I look at things as the internet has developed, I remember the days we did not have internet. The internet developed in my lifetime. And I also remember the days where I did not have a cell phone. I remember long telephone cords. And at that point, people didn't have as much access to information. And so people didn't know what other people were getting, right?
Yeah.
Now, people know what other people are getting. Like, people brag about all sorts. Oh, my company just gave us a week off during Christmas, or my company provides lunches, or hey, look, I'm taking a selfie with my team. My team's doing this awesome thing. And all of a sudden, all of this sharing has really changed how the employee value proposition has developed, because it's really about, yes, there's at the basis of everything, you have to like who you're working with. You have to like your team.
Right. That
is fundamental to life. If you do not enjoy going to work and you do not like the people you are working with, you are in the wrong job, regardless of anything else.
Yeah.
That's number one. The employee value proposition is, what else are we doing for you to make you enjoy working with us? And people are throwing everything at this. So hybrid working is part of it, right? So what's our employee value proposition? Our employee value proposition is, we're really flexible, and you can do, you can do what you want. Our employee value proposition is that we're going to ensure that we look after your health and well-being. And even about 7 years ago, health and well-being wasn't on the list of stuff that anyone talked about.
Right.
Let alone leadership having full-blown discussions, let alone people having like chief wellness officers. I mean, that's a huge shift. All of that is part of our employee value proposition. Equity, diversity, and inclusion. It was like, it didn't exist 20 years ago, really, in the form that it does today. I think it's awesome. We've got, I think the government just approved Truth and Reconciliation Day as a full stat holiday for everyone, which is amazing because that is a focused thing where people can participate in the truth and reconciliation process, and they can educate themselves and they can learn and ask questions and explore all that stuff. That's huge. But also having a focus on it during the year. I think February is it Black History Month, February? And then we've got months for the LGBTQ2+ community. And we've got all these different communities that have they're highlighted throughout the year, which again, it allows people to ask questions. It allows people to kind of engage in different ways and really, try to be more inclusive and have all these different values and stuff. But again, companies are starting to support these things. And this is all part of the employee value proposition. So companies that don't have a purpose, companies that don't support all these great initiatives and all this stuff, people aren't as attracted to go there anymore. And so that's part of just the attraction and retention process, or attraction and retention system that we're working in these days.